Hi, Danielle.
Hi, Casey.
How are you?
I'm good. I still feel a little hungover from the week that was Halloween. It was a lot.
It's a lot. I don't mean to sound old, but I'm like, I feel like my parents just like threw me in a costume and walked me up the street for like a tiny little parade at the elementary school. I had to do like 27 events.
Me too. My parents just let me wander.
Oh,
like
yeah.
they didn't take me to a place. They were like, someone will watch you in the neighborhood. Like it was just not their job. We didn't know whose job it was to be watching me as a child, but it wasn't theirs.
Well, shout out to Mrs. Grimes, the elder woman my parents left me with after school, who just smoked in a moo-moo in bed and watched Santa Barbara. And I sat next to her in bed eating Fruit Loops.
My mother was not home. Me and my sister were home. One time a tornado struck. We did not know what to do. We were shocked. We were like, there's a tornado coming. Parents were nowhere near the house. And my sister and I simply ran under a piano. Which is the last place you want to be. We were
An
like,
entitled disaster.
Seems
My sister and I ran into our baby grand.
we sat under a piano. We were like, guess it's safe here.
I remember having a strange memory of Mrs. Grimes' grandson, like always chasing me around, like in a dark way, like trying to like get
How
handsy,
old
me
was
like
he?
fending him off by an armoire.
Casey, this is very dark. How old was
He didn't get anywhere.
I would hope not, as you were a child.
He was like 1 year older than me.
Okay.
2 years older than me, but it was very strange.
Anyway. Shout out to Mrs. Grimes. R.I.P. Most likely.
I think it's Mrs. Grimes.
I mean, not to laugh, but
Yeah. Although I did get into Santa Barbara from then, and I actually think that might have been a seed.
yeah.
For this
my
work.
sister and I were watching General Hospital before I knew what anything was.
Yeah.
And they would replay Dallas right after General Hospital. So I was in on, as a 7-year-old child, I was on all sorts of things that were very inappropriate.
Yeah.
Affairs, drinking, backstabbing. I knew it all. And again, it set the stage early for what we were to become.
Danielle, I think we better bring our guest right on now because there's so much to get into. Bravo is throwing 4 cities at us. Not to mention, Danielle and I have a little homework for next week.
Yes.
We are going to cover... I can't believe we're taking on one more thing.
But we need to.
We need to.
It felt
Because
important.
we're feeling tides are turning, and you can feel free to reach out to us with what shows you'd like us to cover. But we would like to also include this latest season of 90 Day Fiancé. There's been one episode. We can all start fresh.
Yes. So everybody, I know we've said in the past, like, oh, we're going to try and do this and that, but we are doing 90 Day Fiancé.
You'll know you're in the right place if you see a male and female beekeeper.
Yes, if you
love.
see an American woman preparing to give birth in Russia, to a man who has 2 different children by 2 different women.
Yeah, you'll know it when you see it.
And you'll also know it when you see a couple just simply communicating to each other by translator on Google Translate, which we have seen in the past.
Yeah, you'll know when you feel completely devastated.
You know when the stakes have never been higher and the finances have never been lower.
and the intellect leaves one wanting.
Yeah,
you know, they're not eaten up with brains over there, but
look.
I
don't even know what I'm saying look to, but like, I have no excuse
look, watch it. Look.
It must be looked
away.
upon. Don't turn away. It must be looked upon. You cannot look away.
I do feel like, there's some
What are you going to say?
genetic undesirables. But that's no one's fault.
They were to be what? Thrown away?
No, I'm saying that's no one's fault.
Yes.
And I actually feel, and I certainly don't feel comforted by the relationships that I'm seeing, but some people I'm like, that's a great idea. Like, good for you.
Yes. What's a great idea? That person?
I want to look everywhere for someone.
Yes.
Sometimes you
Scour
have
the
to
world.
look
You have to.
everywhere.
All of my friends that are like, I can't find a guy. Yes, you can. You
Look
just
everywhere.
can't find him.
I point you to Love After Lockup. I point you to 90 Day Fiancé.
Yeah, you can't find him within your periphery. Mm-hmm. But you can if you're willing to look in other countries or in other systems.
In other systems. In other nooks and crannies.
Nooks and crannies. Look under the sea.
Yeah. Leave no stone unturned.
No, and literally look under stones.
And that is 90 Day Fiancé
That is
in a
not
nutshell.
I'm not speaking symbolically.
No.
Go into a cave. See what.
And there is someone for everyone.
There's someone for everybody. Now, we are doing
No, this is not a good intro for our beautiful guest.
She's amazing.
An amazing guest.
And she's taken.
That we've met through her sister.
Yes, her sister was one of the first guests we ever had on I almost said Watch What Happens Live.
But that's because our guest and her sister have worked on Watch What Happens Live.
This woman is also the head writer of one of the best comedy shows on television right now.
Just got a second season, a Black Lady sketch show on HBO. No less.
Yes.
Home box office.
HBO, not fucking around.
Please welcome writer and lovely human,
Lauren Ashley Smith.
That was such a nice intro. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here.
Lauren,
Thank
you look so cute.
Oh, thanks.
And you come from work.
I have.
She came here from a job.
Yes.
That's
from
a
behind
big
a
job.
desk.
Yes, a big job.
Can you just before, and we are going to launch into every city end, of course, your fine work at Watch What Happens Live, because that's the most important
It's
job
my
you've had.
proudest.
Yes,
Yes.
but we do want to talk because we are such huge fans of this show.
Will you
And
tell everyone about it? If I feel many have heard about it, but just tell us about it.
It's a pretty like a typical sketch show, but this one puts
fucking hilarious.
but it puts Black women at the forefront. So it has a core cast of 4 Black women: Robin Thede, Gabrielle Dennis, Quinta Brunson, Ashley Nicole Black.
They're all amazing, but Ashley Nicole Black does something to she just that sketch where she's just like the spy. Oh
Robin gets me good.
They're also they're just
They're
so
all
funny.
great.
They're all amazing.
Yes, they're just so great. And so it's just like a half-hour narrative sketch show. So you see characters like Trinity the Invisible Spy that they come back over the course of the season. They play a lot of different characters. They have so many guest stars in the first season in just 6 episodes, like Patti LaBelle, Angela Bassett. Just unreal people. Kelly Rowland came and did one line. Just amazing women.
Nicole
Byer, fantastic, hilarious.
I just worked with Nicole Byer. She's the greatest ever.
She's so funny.
So funny. She kills me.
So funny.
So funny.
And
I would like to see. I want to play a clip, and I think we're going to because we're unregulated here. It's not like we need to borrow from anyone.
we're not going to be paying you for this footage.
And you know what? That's
that okay?
fine. That's fine.
Okay. This is one of my favorite sketches, which I think is called Exit Row.
Chris and Lachelle, Exit Row.
Okay. Guys, Chris and Lachelle. It's insane. Okay. There is a flight attendant who has just simply come to a man and a woman and said that standard question, before we take off, just want to make sure you're okay, in the event of emergency. And you know how they want you to respond? Yes. And this couple refuses in every way, shape, and form. They have a lot of trouble understanding the question, understanding their role. And I would just like to play a clip from that after the flight attendant has now asked them several times to please, if they could just respond yes.
And we will take off just as soon as you confirm that you are willing and able to assist. Okay, I'm currently able, but what if I become unable over the course of the flight because anything can happen, you don't know? Okay, well, you two don't have to sit here. Oh, rude. Wow, the rude jumped out of you, didn't it? Okay, let me ask you this. Do we get to exit first? And do I get to take my homegirl with me? Sir, are you ready to provide a verbal yes?
I mean, I felt like I said that.
Yeah.
You know it.
Okay, so what do you say?
You're
Yes.
yam.
Yes.
Yaman.
Yes.
Yodel.
Yes. Yoshi.
Yeah. That was just a sound.
Yeah. Yes. Yet. Does this even work? Ma'am, could you please not do that? Because you over here talking about, ma'am, can you not do that? Excuse me. Let me ask you one more thing. How much does this job pay? Well, it's not a job, it's volunteer. Do I get free pretzels?
That's a good question, but
Do I get a blanket?
Right.
Because y'all don't want to give out
Right.
blankets no more, and it's crazy.
What about pretzel blankets? We got married. The statistics of Black men get married aren't
It's
good.
real love.
it's beautiful.
It's so
perfection.
fucking funny.
Thank you.
I've sent, not just am I watching it, but I'm also, it's the kind of show you're sending people sketches from, which that's what's so beautiful about this type of show. It's you can just send, you have to see this. I sent everyone the Patti LaBelle. I sent everybody the Basic Bitch pageant, which is the funniest fucking thing. When she does that thing, and I always talk about this, when she's just you just saw someone, but you keep walking with them, and then you still have to you said goodbye, but you keep walking.
Walk in the same direction.
Oh my God. I watched it a million times. And then the courtroom Kiki. I love the courtroom Kiki too, just because it's also so so cheesy, but it's so relatable. When you're just when you feel other, and then all of a sudden you see people that are like you in a place that you don't feel like you see people like you, and how but it's also so funny, but it also like it means something, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Not to get too heavy-handed or anything like that, but I love that sketch.
But it's just
so
funny
much.
as hell.
Thank
And tell me,
you.
I'm sorry we're not letting you talk at all, but basically,
know,
we
we're
have to
just
let her say one word.
I know, I'm so sorry.
No, I'm going to stop
Our
myself.
fawning is getting gross.
I love it. Thank you.
Now, we thought when I had heard this show that it was called Black Lady Sketch Show, and tell me why it's not.
It's called A Black Lady Sketch Show because the hope is that it's not just the Black Lady Sketch Show and it's like one of many, you know, the same way you would say like, oh, that sketch show. There's not just one sketch show on TV. So we hope that there are many Black Lady Sketch shows, not just ours. Yeah.
And the writer's room, holds a huge distinction, which
Yeah.
is it is the first, I will put the in front of it, first all-female Black writing room.
Absolutely.
That's fucking awesome.
Yeah,
And you're
it's-
the head of it.
It's really fun. It's so fun to
If
come to
you
work every
die,
day.
it goes away.
It is a self-sustaining machine. There are several systems in place.
Okay, good.
I'll
Okay.
step in.
Untimely
You're like,
event of my
that's
passing.
not-
Yes, I'll be like, Casey Wilson will be here. Don't worry.
To really change our legacy?
Yeah. Listen, we do what we have to do.
We have to.
You know, the show must go on.
And have you ever worked on an all-female sketch room before? Like, how is that for you? Because I love working with women, and
This is my first time working in a room with all women and my first time working in a room with all Black women. And it's so cool because, like, you know, from being in writers' rooms and like working in TV, it's like sometimes if you're like pitching an idea or like talking to somebody about something, you're like, okay, well, you know how when blank, and they're like, no.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, so this thing that happens to me because I'm a woman is this. In our room, it's like, you know how, and everyone's like, yup. And then you just move on. And it's so beautiful.
It's shorthand.
Yeah. And we're definitely not all the same at all. And like we come from different places, have different beliefs, different backgrounds, sexualities, like all these things. But just having that little basis of like, you know, shared experience in some way, like it just really creates a shorthand, and it's just so like familial and fun. And I just want to issue an apology to like the people whose offices are by our writer's room because we laugh and yell. And so the laughter is quite, it shakes the glass.
Well, I have to say, I've always been like pretty shocked. And I remember actually, I think I was talking to Keegan Michael Key about this, just like how insane it has been on SNL that there haven't been, there've been, I think, two or three.
Yeah. A handful.
But even smaller than a handful,
Yeah.
honestly, of like
Over way too many years.
American women
Yeah.
on the show. And I remember he was saying, but I'm like, I know Keegan, was this in an interview or was it with me? I'm not sure. But he's like, it's a tragedy. Like when they were doing their sketch show, he's just like, the talent pool is endless.
Absolutely. And so for anyone to think that like, you know, oh, well, you know, you don't see Black women because like they're just harder to find.
They
like,
couldn't find anyone. That was always the
that's
thing.
insane.
absolutely untrue.
They could have, honestly, if they're looking, they could have just gone to the cast of Atlanta.
Talk about looking under a stone. They found me.
I was gonna say though, looking for a funny Black lady, like they could have even just gone to the cast of Atlanta. Those women are some of the funny,
truly comedic geniuses.
truly comedic,
Their timing,
joke writing,
unparalleled. I hope they are all in the Writers Guild of America. They have earned their cards, and
That's what I mean,
they
and
should
that's
be in the
just
union.
on a reality
Absolutely,
show.
absolutely.
Guys, I thought you meant Atlanta, the show. And I was like, I love
meant Real
that
House-
show.
No, that's an amazing show. But
It's a
we're
great
talking
show.
I
about
was
a
like,
higher
I'm calling up a
caliber
funny
show.
woman on the show. I don't know if she's in the WGA
No,
for
she's
that one.
hilarious too.
I was like, 'cause it's funny.
I'm talking about the
I'm talking about
award-winning.
the show that
Here's
that we're
the
sitting here to talk about.
Most lesser people would hear you say the show Atlanta and think of the critically acclaimed,
No.
Emmy-winning, Golden
I
Globe-winning
want to say I'm
television
ashamed
show.
that's what I thought at first.
I'm ashamed for you.
because I operate on an elevated mindset.
Thank you, that's
Immediately
why.
go to the Real Housewives
Thank
of
you.
Atlanta.
Thank you. Some of us are on the same level.
It was like I was just something happened. I was like
Yeah.
transported.
Atlanta? What? No.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah, you'll get better.
The Real Housewives.
You know, we were
of
talking about
Atlanta.
good shows,
Talking
and my
about
mind went to Atlanta, not Atlanta.
and talking about a shorthand. here.
Yes,
Come on.
exactly.
I'm so sorry. Now, speaking of, I don't know, shorthands? I have no segue.
Please,
These are terrible segues.
I love this segue.
Can we talk about you being on Watch What Happens Live? First, you were on Fashion Queens. Wow.
Yes,
With Bevy?
Yes.
How is she? I love her.
Amazing. I love Bevy
her.
so much. We both share a last name, Smith, very common with also like 4 million other people. She's so
That bonded
funny,
you.
so smart. It's like, yes, we both drink water. It's like- so does everyone else. She's fantastic. Miss Lawrence, Derek J. It was just like a great show to work on.
Was it so fun?
So fun. And I will say one of the things that I learned from doing that show is how to pronounce so many designers' names that I truly would not have ever known.
We've really struggled with
Givenchy. Yeah.
Oh, I went
What about
Shay. I went Shay.
Yves Saint Laurent.
Yves Saint Laurent. And it's really Yves Saint Laurent, but if you want to go like full French, but yeah.
So with I wanted to say Givenchy, but it's Givenchy.
Yes,
Givenchy.
exactly.
Givenchy.
It's all happening for
Givenchy.
Givenchy. Yes.
Wow, that's a big takeaway.
That I was like truly like, this is invaluable.
I've said, and I
knowledge. Pardon?
Mugler?
I would say Mugler. Yeah.
Thierry Mugler.
Thierry. Yeah.
Mugler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have called it Gavinci. It's just Gavinci.
That's fine. Honestly, that's fine. You make it your own, you know?
I made it something.
You made it
That's for
something. Now, then you're in Watch What Happens Live. Were your sister and you there at the same time?
We were there so much at the same time. Our desks literally were right across from each
how is
other.
that?
So it was like, I love, because everyone who's ever had an office job knows that like the first thing you want to find after the bathroom is like a person to look at when like shit goes left.
Yeah,
and
of
like,
course.
so having my sister, it's like somebody would say something, we would just go look at each other, like just immediately make eye contact. And we were sitting directly across from each other. So that
Having
was
that
fun.
person that you can be existing in a full group, or even I've done it with it's sad, but like 3 people.
Absolutely. And
And
one's on the out.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like, and especially with your sister, like I have 2 sisters, and especially one of them, like we can get in a fight, like be like, fuck you, no, fuck you. And then 5 seconds later, it'll be like, what should we have for lunch? Like, you know what I
Absolutely.
mean? So to have that, so you can fight with someone, but there's no drama in the
No.
fight because it doesn't matter.
And
like no one's going anywhere.
The good thing about those fights is that it's like with my friends, I'm like, absolutely, like I will pull the ripcord at any moment. You'll never see me again. You'll never see me again. Like truly
we can
tread
keep you
lightly
till the end of this
but
segment.
like, but like with my sister, it's like there's no like you have you're just like latched on.
Yeah.
So it's like you fight, and it's like, what's for lunch? Because like literally we're attached. Like we have to.
I read something, and this is sort of like 1%er, but that writing teams, the best ones are brother and sister teams,
Interesting.
because it's not even like if you write with a spouse, it's just like you're like, that fucking sucks. It's not
Yes.
funny. Move on. Like
Absolutely.
you
yeah,
just
you don't have to be like,
No feelings.
I love this.
No,
but, like,
you don't have to
there's
sandwich it with compliments.
no.
My little sister Mariah, who worked at Watch What Happens Live, is also a writer, and so often we send our work to our middle sister Rachel, and she eviscerates us. She'll be like, "This was clunky." Like she just like gets straight to it. I'm like, "I love these notes. Thank you."
Yeah.
Like she's not like, "Hey, love what you did here." She's like, "No, this page 2 is trash. Please delete it." And I love it.
Now you said your mom has also taken an interest in sketch
She
writing.
has, yeah. Well, my dad did take a full year of improv classes.
No. With UCB?
No, in St. Louis.
Okay.
So that was very fun for me, and we were like commiserating on like practice groups and
What
stuff.
a hero.
Yeah, and then my mom
was in a
more so.
practice group?
He was in a practice
No.
group. He was in a practice group. I loved it.
I love it.
And then my mom will pitch me sketches. Okay. Yes, she'll pitch me sketches.
For your father to be in?
No, and she's
This
like,
is
these are
just for
free
your-
sketches. Like, you should pitch this to the room.
I would love to see a sketch starring your father and Paul Wilson.
Yes, I think our dads and
think
your
they would hit it
father.
off.
My father as
Yes.
well.
I
Really,
think they could all team up.
Yes.
a really interesting sketch
Okay, so
group.
Watch What Happens Live. What can we ask you? Who is the worst guest? Go.
Who was the worst guest?
And remember, this is a no tagging zone, and we've been very good luck with no tagging.
I'm trying to remember because honestly, it's been a while. I would say in general, here's the type of guest that I don't
Okay,
like.
great.
Okay.
And I think that you will identify with this and really understand this as watchers of the show. When people come on and like they've seen like one scene or one episode or like are vaguely familiar with the Housewives, and so they'll say jokes that are like super late, like, well, they're not all housewives. Why is it called The Real Housewives? Or like they just make jokes that are like so old that it's like, don't. And they're like, this doesn't matter. Or like, they try to downgrade
you
the art
can't.
that's happening.
No.
Those people suck the air
Yeah.
out of the room.
Yeah, we tried to never book those people.
Yeah,
They're
if you
bad.
don't let you
We
can-
have our one friend, Jessica St. Clair, who doesn't watch. We've allowed it.
Yes,
but
we've
it's
only
like, 'cause
allowed
she's
it.
so funny.
But I would say Jessica, because I was at the live show, I like how you just have to swing one way. And it's like,
Yeah.
if you actively dislike, I'm still okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
And
she also
she takes it
has,
far, but she also has a reverence and a
and she has a strong opinion,
Yeah.
which I enjoy. Like someone who just can feel strongly about.
but she
a
doesn't
certain
look down
character.
on us.
No.
She's just
I mean,
like,
she
oh,
does.
it's not my thing.
She looks down on us, but not for this.
Correct.
Yes, 100%.
Absolutely.
Different choices we've made in our
Trying
life.
to think of bad.
You don't have to name a name.
I
That was a
can't
tough
think of
question to
any-
throw
I
at you.
truly can't think of any because it's live. So it's like by nature of it being live, it's not bad.
Who was a surprising, like,
Great guess.
breath of fresh? Yes, like someone you were like didn't think was like Ray Fiennes comes in there and did I get that right?
Yeah, you did.
Is
Yeah,
it
you did.
a Da Vinci situation? But when he comes in, like, is he like a super fan, like someone that just like shocks you and it's
Did
like,
Michelle
oh my
Obama ever come on?
Not yet.
God. She did.
No,
I
I
feel
don't
like
think
someone
so.
told me she watches Housewives.
She
Maybe
watches
I'm just-
Atlanta, I
Does
read.
she?
I read.
Love
I
that.
would say always a fun guest is Elizabeth Moss or somebody who's like a big fan. Like
She is a huge fan. That's a great answer.
yeah. So I like that. But I mean, the thing is, my bread and butter, like I was there when we moved from the little studio to the big studio, which was really fun. I was there when James performed Top Man live, and I was there for Erica Jane's first live performance. I was there
All
for
the
Kim
greats.
Kardashian solo, like just like so many great moments that I truly, and Mariah Carey, where she makes Andy switch sides, and she was late, so she like almost didn't make it on live. Like those are the moments.
These are the moments.
These are the moments we live
That's
for.
why we're alive.
Yes.
You know, you remember what you were doing.
I'm like,
Yeah.
where were you when Mariah Carey showed up at 11:04
I know where
for an
I
11
was.
o'clock live show?
Because
I know where I was.
But I think she showed up for an 11:30 Saturday Night Live, like even later.
Yeah,
Like
absolutely.
that sounds actually pretty good
Yeah,
for
she
her.
doesn't subscribe to time, which I like.
No, she doesn't. There have been movie and video sets where she just has not come. And that's so the fact that she was there, I think,
Yes,
wasn't it
it's
a
an
tribute
honor.
to the show and to
It's
Andy.
such a fun show. Like, how many people work on it?
It's a well-oiled machine. I don't know the specific numbers, but like it's just I would say the creative team is pretty small.
Yeah.
Like it's like a small crew of super passionate. Like the way that people think about. So, for example, one of my favorite days of the show was when Iggy Azalea was on, and one of the research team, Nick Rizzo, he's one of the producers of the show. He asked, he was like, we should definitely ask about the time that she went over to Britney Spears' house, because I read in this article that Britney Spears made her a salad or something like that.
Great
it was
question.
a very specific thing to ask about.
That's
And
something we
then-
need to know, obviously.
Yes,
that's
and
the
then-
exact thing. I
So
would like to
Andy
know.
asked about it, and Iggy told this amazing story about how, like, before Britney came to her house. So she made Britney the salad. Before Britney came to her house, like Britney's security came and like searched her house for like contraband and like all
What's
this
contraband?
stuff. Like I don't know. Like they just searched Iggy's house for some reason, and I was like, that's a story that would never come out if you didn't have people that were so.
Is it because of her
pop
dad and the
culture
whole
attuned.
conservatorship?
Yes, I think so.
Wow. I feel like what's going to come out about that dad is like going to come out like Scientology. Like we're going to see a documentary in 8 years and be like, we did know it, but we didn't do
But we
anything
didn't know.
about
No,
it.
exactly.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow.
of-
You're right. Like you can get a story out of someone on Watch What Happens Live just because Andy's also such a, the
so
games you
good.
play, they
He's a
make it
fan.
so easy to just say what we want you to say.
Yeah,
Remember when Meryl Streep was on?
I'll never forget. Or Oprah. Come on, I'll never
God,
forget.
were you there for that?
Was I there for Oprah? I think that's before my
was gonna
time.
say,
That was like
you'd
right
remember.
before
That
my
was
time.
big.
Yeah, that was huge.
That
I
was
watched
huge.
because I
Of
love.
course.
But
That was huge.
That was a get for all of us. We all felt real. You know what I mean? Like
Yes.
when
it's like when you go legit. You know, it's like wow.
like it was like the Velveteen Rabbit, like he's real. Like, that's how I felt at that moment. It's like we're not fucking around. Like we're real. We're real.
Guys, speaking of real, should we take a break and come back with our first city?
Well, and I'd like to talk about David Bador and his naked shots, and then we.
sure.
Guys, support for today's show comes from none other than Third Love.
They're back.
Guys, if you haven't bought from Third Love, what are you waiting for? Third Love's designs bras with breast size and shape in mind for a perfect fit and premium feel. This is, and we have said this before, so we'll say it again, hands down, the most comfortable bra I own, and it's the most comfortable one you will own, with straps that won't slip and tagless labels.
They're lightweight, super thin memory foam cups that mold to your shape, and every single customer has 60 days to put their bra to the test.
And if you don't love it, return it, and Third Love will wash and donate it to a woman in need, supporting charities in their local San Francisco Bay Area and across the United States.
I love that. It's a truly great company and great bras.
And its miles
Love-
also lasted forever. Guys, I've put it through some
You put some miles on
yes,
that thing.
I have. And I have a heavier bosom, and it's keeping them up.
That bra is rode hard and put up wet. Third Love knows there's a perfect bra for everyone, so they're offering our listeners 15% off your first order.
So go to thirdlove.com/housewives now to find your perfect fitting bra and get 15% off your first purchase.
That's thirdlove.com/housewives for 15% off today. We're back.
I wanted to leave everyone on that note because we were sent these wild shots.
Wild. And in the
Pulling 'em up.
wild as well.
Exactly. Thank you.
Pulling them up.
Deeply disturbing
So
photos.
disturbing, and there were so many details that I just like to touch down on. Her huge
Explain what they
bosom.
were,
Well,
'cause people
it's
haven't- may not seen
David
them.
and his new girlfriend. David has a longer hair now. David Bador and his new girlfriend, and she has posted and then taken down. But of course, everybody has screenshots
Yep.
of two, at least I was sent shots of them in delicato.
nip to nip, I'd say.
nip to
Nip to nip.
nip to tip.
Yes, absolutely.
And they were undressed, and we saw a lot. Like, you don't see nipple, you don't see dick neck or anything of that sort. What?
I've never heard of that. Have you?
I've never
That's
heard
really
of it, and
funny.
I wish I had
Me
it.
too.
I feel like I heard it somewhere, and I obviously didn't come up with that. I could never think of something, but it does look
something so
neck.
brilliant.
It does look neck-esque.
Yeah.
If you think of
So you didn't see dick neck, but I saw this side breast like I've never seen.
And at a certain point, I feel like there's a statute of limitations on side breast where it's like if it becomes that large, then it has to actually be reclassified as a full
breast.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like a diagonal breast.
Yeah, it was just so much
So
size.
massive.
Yes. It was honestly mammogram-esque.
Yes.
And was his ass out? It
Yes.
was.
Yes. That's something I did not need.
Those poor kids are seeing that.
Also, their pants were down around the ankles.
What was the purpose? Like, what was the messaging?
I don't know. And now Deanna, our great friend Deanna Chang, said this, which flew on our chain of text, which was, who's taking the photo?
Great question.
And I thought
Yeah,
that
and
was
then
a great
Claire Mukherjee
Yes.
said that she feels it's like an old timey like
On a
points,
timer.
like like a
Put the
time.
thing over his head. It's like,
Everyone gets all covered with dust.
Over here, David. yeah. It was crazy.
it's disturbing.
disturbing.
was.
And as a parent, you think, okay. I mean, and I think that he was like, well, I didn't post it. I can't control what she does. But it's like, think about the ripple effect this will have. Like, you're going to end up on blogs. Your kids are going to end up having to see your side butt. Yeah. And do you want that?
But he's loving it. He's like, I got
loves
this
it.
hot little number.
Guys, he's never looked better. And that is the truth of the matter. I'm just being honest. Like,
She's looking really great too.
Look, they're who? Shannon or this woman?
Shannon.
Shannon looks great.
That woman. Shall we get into Atlanta?
Yes.
A new city that is back. Thank
Some new
God.
life.
It's a true salve and a balm.
Yes.
It is so good. I'm so glad Kenya is back with us.
Guys, thank you for. They opened with her.
She's that hair looks beautiful. She is glowing with new motherhood.
And this whole thing of like, look who's had a baby.
She's so happy.
I love it. I will say she's so happy, and she's still so much who she is because she's 80% happy and 20% smug, which is very much Kenya.
And you can tell that marriage is very much on the rocks at this
she's
juncture.
She can't even.
He's like dropping a pin from New York City for where he is. Like, it's so distant. It's so broken.
When she had the Barbie doll party for her daughter, who was inexplicably 7 months. And
Yes,
that's the time
that's
to
just
have.
an odd,
Guys, can I say
perfect
though,
time.
there has never been a child cuter than this
That
child.
baby looks like it was engineered in a
Yes.
lab. It looks like the baby from Twilight, but
She's
cute. Like it was like made and animated. She is so cute.
I gasped at how cute.
I know.
Beautiful
Others did
child.
too. You could see as people glimpsed her visage.
I think some of them were jealous as well. I could see the look in
Thanks
their
for whispering
eyes.
that.
Yeah.
I thought I was like,
You think Portia was jealous?
yes.
On top of
That's
everything
an ugly
Portia's
thought for
going
me to
through.
have. That's an ugly thought for me.
Sorry I pulled it out of you, but I felt I could see on your face.
You had it written on your face before.
And I wanted to generalize it and say some people, but I meant one
we all
person.
knew it.
We all knew what you meant.
Would
Just
you
like
say
she's been
some
through
people
so
and
much and
some random extra?
Her baby is cute. Her
Yes.
baby is beautiful.
Very
Yes, and
beautiful.
also everyone at 2 months, they're not fully cooked yet.
Yes,
Like they're
yes.
still
But I do
bacon.
think she was like, it's like, when you go to like let's say a potluck and you think you really did something with a dish and
Yeah.
then somebody shows up with something out of like friggin' Food Network. You're like,
you're still like, you're okay
you're like,
with
I'm
your
good
dish.
with what
Yeah.
I did, but
Yet.
I mean, she made a souffle.
Yeah, it was hard.
Yeah, I mean,
And at the Barbie party, well, okay, you have to watch to see Kenya open up this season with a motherfucking bang, but
Yes.
then
Wow.
they juxtapose us with Portia. I was crying. I mean, you know how I feel about Portia, despite what we've just said.
Yeah.
I was crying.
I feel for Portia so much. And I think it really, truly broke my heart when she was like, talking about not getting dressed every day. And the mark of someone who is truly going through it, like you could tell the way that she was speaking about her day to her sister and her mom, where she was like, when you don't want to get up and you don't want to get dressed and it's like, say I.
Yeah.
It was hard.
I've been there where you're like,
I've been there.
when you've literally been, and then all of a sudden it's 6 o'clock, and like you're just like, what's the
because she has a
point?
2-month-old. Her husband has moved out 4 days earlier.
And she's in the public. It's not like she's going through this like as a private citizen.
And she's filming a reality show.
Oh, I wanted to hug her. Like I truly
know.
felt
When Miss
so
Diane
bad.
was crying.
I started crying.
Me too. And when her
Yesterday.
sister, who I love,
I love
her sister's got a real nice head on her
She
shoulders.
really
Oh,
does.
she
That's
always
like
has.
a good family.
100%.
Really great family.
Sitting there, and you know what I appreciated about them is they were all just listening.
Yes.
You
They
never
weren't
see that.
prescribing. They weren't telling her what to do. They weren't saying, well, you need to pull it together. They really were supporting her, feeding her. Like it was really
When Miss Diane
beautiful.
closed the curtains for Portia to get a nap,
It
I was
reminded
like,
me of Sex and the City.
yes.
Where Sarah Jessica Parker has been left and the girls are just around her and they close the curtains
Yes.
and like she just gets to sleep. But when she's ready, she will.
But it was like genuinely very, very
yeah, I was
sad.
crying because I
sad.
feel I love her so much
Me
and
too.
this journey,
She's
and I
just
want
a
her.
sweet person, like and someone who has had obviously her moments, but like is pretty pure of heart
She's
in a lot
also
of
been
ways.
through so much with that
Yeah.
first
She was
husband,
so
and,
excited.
Yeah.
She was so excited about
and
this.
she doesn't have the strength that Kenya has. You know what I mean? To
Kenya was like, okay, I want the baby.
Yeah.
And the husband is a cool byproduct.
That's what I
Portia
mean,
wanted
like, I
the
think-
baby and the
Yeah,
husband
she
and the
wanted
whole
that.
deal.
As she cried to Miss Diane, I wanted a family. I wanted a family.
Where I'm like, Kenya's gonna be okay. You know
She's
what I
gonna be
mean?
fine.
That's what I
Kenya's
mean. Like,
gonna
I
be
think this
fine.
guy's already kind of done right
Yeah.
now, even though we're going to see Mark, which I appreciate him getting his ass on camera.
Absolutely.
Yes. Thank you, Mark, for that. But I think that I feel like Kenya is like so fine with the arrangement in
Yeah.
a way.
Yeah, she's like, I got what I wanted, which
Yes.
is absolutely like a fair feeling
I got
to
the most
have.
beautiful child that ever
Yeah.
And
was.
it is a miracle baby because she had struggled
my
and
God.
she is, she's certainly not older, but in the fertility world.
Absolutely.
Oh please!
I-
I was a geriatric pregnancy in my 30s.
I was geriatric and obese.
And that show really gave me hope because I'm like in my early to mid 30s and I still haven't had a kid. And I was like, there are so many babies just flying about in Atlanta.
Oh, you've
that
got 20
really-
years
I was
by
like,
Atlanta's clock.
Okay.
Yeah.
20.
This is
You've got
inspirational.
time. You've got all the
that made me very
time.
happy.
Kenya's like 47, correct?
I mean, I don't know. I truly don't know.
It just felt like an injection of just life and energy when I saw
Yes.
Kenya. Where the fuck is Nene?
Where is Nene?
Where is Nene?
Is she a friend of?
No.
Because I see her, obviously she's coming.
Because I wondered, and she had a peach.
She's coming.
So like what I'm waiting with bated breath for the big reveal. Like what's gonna be like, where are we gonna pop in with her? You know?
I mean, we're seeing her talking to Greg saying she wants an open relationship. It doesn't seem the women are doing well in their relationships.
No, not at all.
Besides Eva and Chill.
And also,
How's it the night?
Chill. Can we talk? There's a few moments with Chill I'd like to talk about.
Yes.
I love
First
Chill
of
and I
all-
don't want to hear anything
No,
bad about
nothing
him.
bad about Chill. It's really more about Cynthia.
Okay.
First of all, we got cleavage cam, which
Yeah.
was a shock.
Yeah.
Like just a cam that the point of view of her cleavage, which I appreciated. And then there was the point where Chill said, "I don't like you with your hair on," and she whipped it off. And I was like, yeah, like
And
I just
looked
love
gorgeous.
Oh, because she's
a classic. beauty.
she's so gorgeous.
Classic.
But I
And
love
every
that
year,
he's like,
and
I
not-
just love you.
Yeah.
I know I've said things about him in the past.
Which I've always been like, do you have the right person?
I guess I worried that he was after the wrong thing.
And what I
she's been
told
through
you is
so
he
much.
already has
Do you think it's
fame.
fame?
I thought it was fame because, and I'm saying, but he wanted more camera time because he was just so ready to get on camera.
I didn't find him ready.
And also because that whole like, you thought he was going to propose, and then he's like, I want to know if you'll be my serious girlfriend. Like it, and so that was strange.
It's a little
to me.
contrived,
Yeah,
especially when we're at this stage of life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, we're adults here.
Yeah.
We've been through some shit. Like, let's just either do it or don't. But like this weird thing is, it
Yes.
felt a little contrived to me. So I was worried about him. I have no reservations at this point. I believe he's a good man.
I like it. I like it for her. I also think that these women need someone who doesn't fully give in right away. Like I feel like I like that he's like, I don't live in Atlanta, you know, like I'm not just gonna
And you're
be
not
part
gonna-
of your whole deal right away.
And you're not going to tell me when to propose to
Yeah.
you. Like, I want to have that moment.
Yeah.
And I loved Kenya saying to her, stop it. Stop posting wedding dress. Like Kenya had
She
to
is
come to
thirsty.
Yes. And
Thirsty
but then I love when
Barbie.
she goes, I am thirsty.
She's like,
When they all showed up at that Barbie party.
wow.
Wow.
Wow. I still can't really narrow down what was the purpose or why.
No.
But I don't need that. You know, I don't need that.
We've never needed that. Like they always try. That's why those trips, they always try and give us a purpose. Like
Yes.
we're going to see Meghan King Edmonds.
Exactly.
Well, and I'm like,
I don't need you to shoehorn
just
it
go
in.
to Ireland.
Yeah. Just go. Say, I bought a
go.
ticket. Does anyone else want to go?
Yes, go to Dubai, go anywhere, go somewhere good.
Yep.
Give me a great resort. I
Yep.
don't want any bullshit. I don't want an Airbnb like that
Nope.
one time. Because that was a travesty to stay. Poor Cynthia, but come on, Cynthia.
I bought a ticket. Does anyone want to come? Does anyone want to come to what our producers are forcing us
Yes.
to? To what we know is on the call sheet for tomorrow.
Absolutely.
But because it is all on the producer's dime, why are we at an Airbnb with
Good
Cynthia?
question.
Like, I just, not to take us back there, but it doesn't. It
doesn't
didn't
add up.
Yeah, it didn't track for me.
Doesn't add up.
Now, how many grand openings are we going to have for Cynthia's businesses?
How many businesses are we at this? Can we just count them?
Okay.
Bailey Agency.
Yep.
Of course. Bailey Eyewear.
Eyewear. Cargo.
Yep. Which is the handbags,
The
right?
handbags.
Yep. Don't forget when she opened the bar with Peter.
Bar
one.
And then was there bar two?
There was a
In
bar.
North-
There was
yes.
another
Or bar
number
one in North
offshoot.
Carolina.
Yes.
Neither hand.
No.
No.
They.
And I think there was something else.
There was a restaurant that wasn't a bar, a sports bar.
Well, that was Ramona.
Oh yeah.
I find
A couple of them have had sports bars.
And now
find
this
the
Bailey
combo
Wines.
of the wine and the cookies to be.
No, but it was hot cookies part of her.
I don't know.
But I was like, why are we promoting hot cookies instead of the wine cellar?
I was so confused, and the
Every
let's
right
say
to
less than a case of wine that she had
kiosk.
on the shelves.
Yeah.
Was
And then
alarming.
And then for Kenya to call her out and she's like, I know the price of that wine at like my
Bring it
local
down.
Trader Joe's.
I would literally take my friend out and shoot her dead if I was trying to promote my business and that's what my friend said, and then they cut and it was like That's the intro.
That's it. That's what's going on camera.
Yeah.
Cynthia's not afraid to open a business and close a business.
Not at all.
And she was like, what do you think? She even knew it was like not.
She's like, this isn't it.
We still have not received our Bailey eyewear.
No,
we have
we
ordered
ordered it
them
months ago.
Years, Casey.
Cynthia's still circling the drain in terms of passions.
Yes, she's like still finding herself.
Well, when you're that beautiful, maybe you don't have to. Like, maybe that's okay.
And I think she's someone who's like, I read once in an entrepreneur book that you have to start 12 businesses to make one last. And she's like, I'm sticking to that.
You're so right. Yes. That is exactly.
That's absolutely her worldview. I know it.
Yes. Now, who's your favorite housewife in Atlanta?
In Atlanta, I was feeling the loss of Sheree. Sheree is my favorite Atlanta housewife of all time.
Sheree.
And Danielle's.
After with her out of the mix between the ladies that we have, I'm gonna go, to be honest, Portia, because Kenya has been around so long that she's like kind of not willing to get in the dirt with them as much anymore. But Portia still, in spite of herself, will still slide back into, and that's what I need.
Okay.
And
that's
Portia,
what we demand.
Kenya's funny too, but Portia's one-off lines throw me.
And that's why it was so painful to watch her so down.
Because you want her happy and like joking and with props and like doing juice cleanse. Like you want like fun Portia. Yeah.
I also, that scene between her, Portia, and Kenya at the end made me cry.
That was deep.
Beautiful.
And it was really dark when Kenya was excited to tell her, which I believe she was genuinely excited to be like, hey,
good news.
This girl from the news that everyone said is having an affair with your husband came up to us at a restaurant at Old Lady Gang and is not.
She's never met him.
And then to which Portia responded basically like, there's others. And like, I don't really care about her.
That's hard. And to hear, honestly, number one, I love whenever I hear a producer voice, when I see
Yes.
people behind
Me too.
the
I
curtain.
feel like I'm getting behind the
I'm
scenes.
like, okay, you've drawn me in. But to hear someone who has been on The Real Housewives of Atlanta for several years say they were embarrassed.
That's a shocking moment.
What?
It's like it must be like, that's like they don't experience embarrassment the way that we mere mortals do. Right. Like for her to say, I am embarrassed, the sentence.
And the way she said it was like, well, what do you think? Of course, obviously. I know. I was like, huh. You were embarrassed.
You said someone had a sex dungeon and was trying to molest you, and it wasn't true.
You thought the Underground Railroad
was a train.
and remember, your grandfather was a major civil rights activist.
And yet,
absolutely.
Now
is where we've taken a stop at embarrassment.
We stopped the train at embarrassment,
and that was sobering.
All aboard. That is words of wisdom.
My Lord. Wow.
I just wanted to quickly do a rundown. I started looking up with Atlanta how many followers they all have, and I had some surprises up my sleeve.
Okay.
How many followers do you think Portia has?
6 million.
5. Good guess.
5 million.
Cynthia Bailey.
12.
2 million.
12 million? Mm-hmm. 2.5.
What?
I know.
2 million.
Nene.
18 million.
3.5.
What?
Portia has 5. Kenya.
I'm going to go 1.9 then.
1.8!
Wow. Price is Right rules.
That's one of my favorite hobbies, honestly, is to look up how many Instagram followers people have.
Wait, how many do you think Tanya?
Oh, poor Tanya.
I was surprised that she was even back. Like, I don't think
she's not.
She's still a friend of, though. I thought she was in the mix last year. Like, the only thing she had going was that hibachi room. Like, we had nothing else.
Can I just hit you with one more?
Yes.
She by Sheree.
I hate to say this. I'm going to go 776,000.
This is like Price is Right. Danielle. You need to go high or low.
I'm going to go lower.
Okay.
And you know I love Sheree.
I love Sheree.
No, you two are proud followers.
I'm 250,000.
381. And I a paltry base myself.
I'm circling the drain with my viewers.
At the most, comes in Miss Candy Burris with 6.9.
That makes all the sense in the world. She works.
Wow.
Candy works
I
at
find
every
Candy so
part.
boring. I'm sorry,
And
guys.
I'm like, I can't imagine. I don't follow her on Instagram. I can't imagine what her Instagram is offering that like Kenya's, Nini's,
But she
Portia's,
has
and
people.
Cynthia's
and
isn't
Kim
giving.
Zolci at 3.1.
Wow.
But here's
Now, does
what-
Brielle have more than Kim?
No way.
Okay.
Can't be.
But here's
Guys,
what Candy
remember
has.
when
Candy
Kim-
has systems in
She
place.
does have systems in place.
She has someone working for
SIP,
her. Someone
yes.
is making content.
Yes.
So she is not like all the rest of them. They're in charge of this. Maybe. Excuse me.
Oh my God. Did you just burp?
Oh, embarrassed.
Okay, Portia.
Okay, Portia.
And I've gotten waxed on this, and this is
This is where you
I
got
have
a
my
lot.
bikini wax. I have my vagina bare, and I'm like, this is embarrassing.
today,
Today's where
I am
got a lot.
embarrassed.
We're all
Today
touching
I'm
on
down.
the embarrassment railroad.
Yes.
All aboard.
We're all touching down with that feeling today for the first time.
Wow, that was so real.
Wow.
Those numbers are wow.
shocking.
I just felt that we needed them.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Can we just quickly, before we move on, talk about the preview for the whole season?
Yes.
What in the fuck when someone's like, someone recorded Cynthia, Nene saying Cynthia is not who we think she is. I'm sure she is who we think she is,
Yeah.
but she said somebody recorded Cynthia dogging out Nene. And apparently she goes on like a crazy tirade.
But-
Cynthia did look embarrassed in the
She
clip.
did. I just love the like kind of like throwback to like Clue. Like it's like someone in this room.
But it's like, isn't
Appreciate
that
you
what-
bringing up my
that.
favorite movie.
I love that.
You're right.
Isn't that what these women do for a living
Yes.
on all of these shows? Those dog each like
Yes.
to know that someone's like. I don't know what Cynthia has said that's so bad that she sort of has not said
And it's
on
like
this show.
someone recorded Cynthia saying bad things about Nene. Was it the production crew? Like what? Like that is. I just don't understand.
I never
what,
once thought that. I was like, uh-oh.
Yeah, I was like, someone must have gotten out their
like, someone
recording
leaked
pen.
this.
Their
Yes.
pen.
Yes. But I will say, as a scholar of the genre,
Yes,
and by
please.
genre I mean the whole channel of Bravo, any season, it's like this is truly like biblical. Any season that begins with a 6 months earlier or a where we are right now and then a flashback is gold. It has worked well on Potomac. It has served us well on Southern Charm. It has served us well on Vanderpump Rules. Every time, that means they have something. They have a plate. You have to know where you're going to show us where we've been.
Right.
And
And
so
they've got-
have
there's a
it.
there there.
There's a there.
And that's why she's the head writer, you guys, because
Okay,
she
yes.
understands.
Because I have been like,
drama.
oh, they're kind of using that a lot, but then I don't see it with seasons that it's not there.
If it's not there, they don't use it lightly. Like they only use it if there's truly like the
and
you
it
know
does
the
seem things are coming down
they're
the
coming.
pike.
Yeah,
Atlanta never lets us down.
You know who
rarely
does let me
do.
down is Eva.
yeah.
She doesn't do much.
She makes
for
me feel
us.
gross. Like she
She's-
just smells of patchouli and
She's
like
just like so doing well. Like she's beautiful. She's fertile. She is, you know, in a happy relationship.
Nice husband.
Getting a new place. Like it feels kind of like, okay.
yeah.
Yeah, she does not.
But I have to say that was so fucked up that she was like, "Oh, I wouldn't bring my kids here around. I don't know Kenya
That was
very well."
so rude.
That was unbelievable.
I thought Kenya showed a lot of restraint.
Yes.
Old Kenya would have ripped up those Barbie dolls and
Oh, she would have gone after her. But New Kenya, we'll see. I mean, Kenya
We'll
still got
see.
it in here.
we'll
but
see.
I mean, anyone that says I'm throwing a party for my child and then enters, it's like, you know, Prince Philip walks like 3 feet behind the queen. Like
Yeah.
Kenya just let the baby trail her at the entrance of the party. I was like, there's old Kenya's in there. She's there.
I'm
And
proud of her for
I love that
that.
she set the precedent right away saying there can only be one queen in this house and it's me. And I was like, cool. So she gave birth to her competition. I like that.
I like
that
that
dynamic.
too.
Yeah.
I do
too.
too.
Well,
Should we
shall
bring
we
us
go into OC?
OC? Now, here's the thing about OC, where Atlanta, even though there is some dark stuff in terms of what's going on, especially with Portia, I find such joy in Atlanta. These women laugh, and even in their darkest moments, there is true joy. OC is so dark and void of
Joy. There's not a bit of joy.
A cloud has settled over Orange County.
Over Coda Tacoma.
It has.
Yeah.
It is looming.
Yeah.
The darkness of Gina's life, there's just such
Emily's.
despair. Shannon.
Bronwyn's.
It sends a chill.
It does. It does. Now, a lie was spoken this week. A lie.
a lie.
My Ms. Tamara Barney. She said the sentence, I feel like I'm the most compassionate person in the world. I'm in compassion in all ways. I always try to give people the benefit of the doubt.
Can't think of a less true statement.
Our lies were sad. Guys, we're back from a technical difficulty, and over the break, quickly, we were discussing Twitter and Instagram followers, and you were saying it's illuminating.
It's truly is my favorite game to play. I'll just be like, okay, which people in this ecosystem have the most followers? Because it really is never who you think.
Because in the Kardashians, you were saying we think it's Kim, then Kylie.
Yep.
And you said Kourtney has.
Kourtney is trailing.
Right. And I think that's why her whole thing is like, I'm not going to show up for this stuff. I'm not going to work through this family, because if she were to try and then have that amount, it would just reveal how dislikable she is.
That's a great point. Wow. It's a great point. Because it's like, if I don't try and I have less followers, I can justify that.
But if
I
she's
do
like,
try,
I want to move, I don't want to do the show, all of that, it's like, I think that's maybe where we're coming from. I find her body incredible.
I think she's really beautiful. I think she's...
Talk about joyless.
Oh my gosh.
She's found more joy recently.
I find the most beautiful one to be close, because I watched it last night. I texted Casey. I was like, I am living my truest life. Just watching Kardashians in bed nothing is more relaxing.
Yes.
But
they're vices.
we've really taken a turn.
And I'm sorry.
Saying, but I find Khloe to be gorgeous. I can't take my eyes off her.
I find her
Is that me?
hypnotic more than...
I find her charming, yes, and she draws me in. I have a fundamental problem with the way that they've progressed the work that they've gotten done.
I thought it was just...
I have a hard time with it.
I thought it was just shading.
I'm
Danielle,
talking
are you kidding?
from the top to bottom. Just the whole thing is
You think
hard.
that ass is shading?
Her butt is so big.
That's not real? Am I crazy? I'm crazy. Sorry, guys.
We've both put our head in our hands.
I'm so
We're
naive.
speechless.
That's not real?
No.
Wow. I want you, because I've spent so much time looking at it, like from a side view, it is humongous.
There's a video that I just was sent last night that I will send to you that it actually structurally doesn't make sense. Like the beams, and by the beams I mean her legs.
The bones of the house
They're
don't
not
support.
large enough to support what she's put back there.
So how does it work?
I don't know.
What do you put in there? Is it like boobs?
I don't know.
You're right.
It's injections of what? Fat?
It protrudes so much. It truly, I can't even
It's
describe
not
it.
structurally
Kim and Kylie
sound.
too?
Kylie, of course.
Kylie definitely?
Yes.
Yes.
Wow. Guys, I know.
The transformation that Kylie herself has made from when we first started watching with...
And this is, I think getting work is phenomenal. I think it's absolutely like, do what you want to do.
Yeah, sure.
But you want to get permits first.
Yeah, I feel like there should be some kind of vetting process.
Yeah.
Right. An engineer involved.
Yeah, and like an inspection, perhaps.
You want to get,
Your 90-day close.
Yeah.
And I love Khloe is my favorite. I love
I think
her.
she's so funny, so smart. Like, I think they're really an endearing family. Just to detour more, Kim did this amazing gift for Chris's birthday this week.
I can't even with this gift.
It moved me.
She took her to her...
She rented out their childhood home. Wow. Set it up like their childhood home.
Like
down to the wallpaper.
Rented all the cars, all the models of cars they had as kids. Put their actual license plates on the cars. Drove them to the house. And like, she had the family meet her at a different location. She said, well, where we're actually going is this. Chris opened the envelope, just started crying. They just were crying through a lunch, reliving. She was like, memories of my dad live in this house. Oh, wow. It was beautiful. And that's like one of those things where it's like, yes, they have all the money in the world.
And yes, things are orchestrated to a degree.
Yes, but like that is so
I do
thoughtful.
believe that was Kimmy's idea.
That was a really beautiful gift.
It's and they do manage to top themselves.
They
Like,
do.
that's a crazy gift.
That's a
for Chris's 64th.
Yes.
64?
Yes.
Yes. And it was
I was
funny because in
blown
the
away.
video, Kim, like, they were like, oh my God. And Kim goes, don't freak out. I didn't buy it. I just rented it. Like, because it's like, yeah, that would be a
Then
possibility.
she added, it's not for sale.
It's not for sale.
It wasn't that she didn't.
No, she didn't try. I mean, she did try. Yeah.
Where is this house?
It's
Beverly Hills.
so Chris
Glendale or
grew up
something?
in
I'm not
Beverly
sure.
Hills.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Anyway, guys, I'm so sorry
Sorry,
to take us away from
we
OC.
took us-
That's my fault.
Well, I think because OC was so
Dark.
dark this
Kelly
week.
and her daughter are just like a fucked up Gilmore
Well,
Girls.
Jolie is the smartest person on the entire show.
Jolie needs to be Jolie is a licensed social worker at this point. Like, she's really helping Kelly
She
through a lot.
is. Kelly is is unhinged.
When Kelly did that testimonial and she was like, she said, nobody gets my humor. You have to be smart to get my humor. And then she goes, it's called, trails off genuinely for a while and then goes, so sarcasm. It's like, it was amazing.
For Kelly to be so to lack such self-awareness as to talk about her humor, where it's like when I watch Kelly, all I see is like she's just so corny. Like she's
she's the
someone that
corniest
would like
person.
genuinely say like, "Whoop, there it is." Like,
I believe she has.
Oh, I
Like,
bet that's like Clay.
she's not.
Or like Budweiser. Or something,
Yeah,
like, you know what I mean? Like
she loves like
She's always
just
doing like, my wife.
I don't. But like
she's
so
like
much.
calling people. She's like, "What's up?"
Exactly. It's like she stopped. She only gets her humor from commercials from like
From
1994.
1994.
Yeah, like it's a strange.
It's so hard to know what to think about Kelly.
Kelly's behavior, I find Kelly so entertaining, but I found her behavior to be so ugly at that dinner where she like, you know, she talked about, they were saying like, well, Tamara said this or whatever. And instead of taking that in and like directing her negativity towards Tamara, she turns to Shannon and she's like, well, she talks about you too.
Yes.
It was so ugly and hurtful, like unnecessarily. It was really indicative of her emotional maturity.
Yes, but I also think Shannon is such a born mean girl that it's like watching Heathers. You know what I mean? How it's like okay, or like okay, it's also like I know the only way you're going to get on my side is to show you who she is.
Yeah.
And
so,
like, you know what? The only way we're going to survive as women is if we throw the one person who's not here under the bus.
They do it
It's so
constantly.
crazy to watch.
It's really primal. Like, it's just like Kelly acted as if she'd been like thrown to sea without a life vest, and she was like, next, but like she just like it was very weird.
Did you guys think it's that bad what she said? I celebrated her funeral.
No, she was joking.
I was like,
Honestly, one of the funniest things she's
I
ever said.
know.
The
The
most
only-
timely and relevant jokes she's ever made.
And Shannon being like, you don't talk about that. And then Tamara did say, like, she said a lot of shit about us.
Yeah.
Like, I think we can say whatever we
And Shannon,
want.
like, I don't joke about death. It's like, but you do go to your marriage counselor and pretend you're under, you know, your tombstones are out. And
Yes. Like, I think we're not at the place where we can say we don't joke about this. I think we're beyond that.
On the subject of humor, can I just say that the screenshot of Tamara's text of the video saying, "Is this Shannon?"
That truly made me laugh.
very funny.
I love
that woman getting
and
hit.
that woman getting hit and then being like, and they showed it twice. I was happy to see
I was
that
like,
twice.
they paid to get the rights to that viral video just
Yes.
to make that moment work, and I appreciated it.
Oh,
you
that was
know
the funniest.
all
That
the-
was truly funny.
Now, Emily in the paddleboarding scene. I just felt it wasn't the right locale for her. Like, everyone always wants to get Emily like doing sports and like out and things, and I just feel this woman is she's like, no,
She's
like,
an indoor girl.
Yes. She's always just like, can we order? Like in every scene, and Bronwyn's always just trying to go outside.
I
It's
know.
so
Now, we found out this week that Bronwyn has admitted to cheating on her husband.
yes.
And that was to have
That
7
they split
kids,
up, and
that
she found a guy in Hawaii,
moved some of the family to Hawaii.
and her husband quit his job and was a stay-at-home dad for 8 years after that.
What?
They have their life gives me anxiety in a way that I just
it always feels like there's just like something that could go wrong at any moment.
Something feels very off.
It feels off. It's a lot to juggle what they have going there. And
I'll say.
it's a lot.
Yeah.
And she seems so emotionally fragile
Yes.
that I'm not comfortable watching her.
She's also so desperate to be liked. For someone, it's like for someone who has so much else going on and like so many other people to keep alive, to be worried that like Kelly Dodd is mad at you seems secondary.
Yeah.
It seems like she wants to say with everything is like, wait, I thought I was being good and now America's turned on me. Instead of saying you've turned on me, like she seems so aware and like trying to please America.
Yes.
Question for everybody, and this is to go back. So her husband didn't work for 8 years and he was a stay-at-home dad.
Gave up his business.
How were they surviving?
Because didn't she say that she told him from the outset, I want a lot of kids and I don't want to work?
I'm sure that sounds right.
Yeah, that's
So she didn't, I just presume that she'd never worked a day in her life.
So
and
Then he had some business job, you know.
So to sell
some
it, did they
job
make
that
a lot
was-
of money from him
maybe.
selling that
I don't
business
know.
of
She
whatever
said he sold his shares.
in his
But does that keep us? She's moved the family to OC to do this show.
Absolutely.
from Miami, correct?
That's clear.
They're now like bringing in ringers to OC. Yeah. Shut it down.
They're like
Shut it
flying
down.
in. Yeah, they're like
Yeah.
flying in outside talent.
And
which
then
is
there's
tough.
Gina. Gina is what's going on with her and her husband. How he's tailing her. Like it's just like
Because we know that story gets darker. And she's like, I know, I'm afraid, you know, what he's going to think when he sees me with another man. And he like goes ballistic.
I also feel to her and him, let's not date right now.
Yeah.
Let's get our stuff in order.
Yeah.
Then I'm not saying like please by all means make yourself happy. Fuck a guy. I don't care.
Like, I do feel like Shannon waited a year and was just like, let me get myself.
It seems like
Not that she had
everything
to.
is untethered.
Everything is just in flux.
Yeah, so get your life in order. Make sure your kids are okay. Like again,
Sure.
like just
get your casita in order.
Get your casita. There's not just get.
There's no furniture to get in order.
Yeah, so get anything. Get the kids together.
I find that every conversation I'm watching Gina have on camera, whether it's with another person on the show or with the producers, is the only conversation that she's having in her day. Like the way that she's crying in the confessionals, it's like, oh, this is the only time you talk about these things. Like, I don't think she's talking to anyone else.
Wow. I did notice that Gina and I drive the same car, Black Chrysler Pacifica, and that is a good segue.
That is a great segue. Casey, you didn't think you were good at segues, but that was
But that was
terrific
brilliant.
one.
It was smooth.
It is a great segue, Danielle. Thank you. Because I wanted to just tell our podcast listeners, as you know, I might as well be the face of Chrysler Pacifica at this point, the minivans. I'm obsessed. And they have very, very generously given this offer to our listeners, which is truly, I think, amazing, which is there is a URL for $1,000 discount off of Chrysler Pacifica. Again, I think everyone knows I'm obsessed with my hybrid. It's all that I think about and care about. And, you know, I know what you're thinking, minivan, you know, and a friend once told me, the only tough thing about a minivan is walking up to it. Well, I got to tell you, she did not see my little baby, my Chrysler Pacifica. It's everything to me, and I'm getting many friends to get them. But I have to say, $1,000 discount is incredible. So go to www.pacificasesh.com, and you can get $1,000 discount. Just trying to be a pal, guys. Don't hate, don't judge. Do we have anything else for OC?
Oh, I just like to say one more thing. That Kelly said Vicky is a pig and Tamara's a snake. I was like, wow.
Vicky is
Leaves
a
us with an
pig
image.
and
Tamara's a snake.
Tamara is a snake. She's malicious. Mm-hmm. But don't you think it's her desperate attempt? She's like, if I don't stir stuff up, like
Nobody's
I don't have
going
anything.
to. Yeah. And I think
they
that she's
tell them
saying
if you
we
know
don't
something?
have anything.
Do they tell you straight up, like, if you know a piece of information, you have to share it?
I don't know. That's a good question. I feel like, so in my experiences working not on any of these shows, but just like sort of observing with other reality shows, watching the people who produce them, they kind of like egg them on. So like they do things like, well, Danielle, like, you got to tell Casey how you feel, because if you don't, like, she's going to look better than you on camera, and like she's going to be the one that determines the narrative. So like you have to say something, right? And you're like, yeah, I do have to say something. So it's not like presented like you, Danielle, must say this thing. They're just talking to you like a friend. It's basically like being a professional shit stirrer.
They're
the shit stirrers.
It's like, hey, like I'm just looking out for you, and I want you to look good.
That's how I've experienced. I've literally never seen a Bravo. I've never been on the
you seem to know
set
it
of
all.
a Bravo
I
show.
trust everything you're saying.
That's sort of how I have interpreted how reality show people produce.
And that's what Lisa Vanderpump as well was trying to do, which is just like she's trying to, I think she's producing. Yeah, we've all said this, but that's also like she always wants to look good. She always has to be on top of it, and that's what she was doing.
Yeah. Because going back to the thing about Bronwyn, it's like nobody wants to get the villain edit, or nobody wants to be the person that America's like, well, that one is the bad one.
But I think more than almost anyone, she's such a like almost crazy perfectionist type A person that she's like very much struggling against that label, almost more than anyone. I guess like Aviva was struggling against it.
But here's the thing, Bronwyn's not a natural villain. I don't know that there is a villain edit of Bronwyn where there is a villain edit. You do think so?
You think?
She just seems so...
Not villain, just like... I don't know. And she said that public school thing and the way she orders or something about her, I'm like...
She's annoying.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
But like Aviva... I can see the bad guy.
You're right.
She was like...
There's a whole lineup of bad guys before Bronwyn in the OC.
Yeah. Right. Even Gina.
There's just so many more.
But they like to make her it because she's kind of the most quote unquote like perfect one of them.
But to me, she's one of the not least... she's so on the edge to me.
The issue is that like where most of them, like a Shannon, a Vicky, a Kelly, you tell them like you're a bad person, like fuck off. Bronwyn's like, oh no, how do I fix it?
Yeah, which is like, you're right.
Yeah, and so that's why it gets to her more, and so that's more compelling.
When anyone yells at her, she just sees Dr. Deb's crazy face on their head. I feel like Leanne and Bronwyn need some work on what's happening with their mothers.
Yes. Oh, speaking of...
Shall we take a break and come back with
Dallas? Here's a question. How did you sleep last night? I personally was tossing and turning. I was also like kind of sweating. Like I just wasn't doing well. Well, if you want to get the best sleep of your life, you've got to try Ettitude sheets. Ettitude is feathery soft. It's 100% organic bamboo made with a non-toxic manufacturing process. It's also hypoallergenic and antimicrobial. Their organic clean bamboo is extremely breathable and regulates your temperature to improve your quality of sleep. So no more sweaty sleeps. So why not try Ettitude? These amazing sheets have a 30-day risk-free trial. If you're not fully satisfied, you can return your sheets for a full refund. They even cover shipping on returns. Ettitude sheets, they're soft as silk, breathable as linen, but the price of cotton. You've got to love them. And when you support our sponsors, you support our show. And right now, our listeners get 20% off their sheet set and free shipping. Just text Sesh to 64,000. That's 64-000. The only way to get 20% off your set of Ettitude sheets and free shipping is to text Sesh to 64000. That's Sesh, SESH, to 64000. Message and data rates may apply.
We're back.
Okay. Tell us.
Leanne's wedding and Leanne's mother.
Now, we were talking as we were watching some of Dallas and just saying that it's telling that the last episode of the season didn't end with Leanne's wedding. Like that feels what Leanne's lot in life is. She's not a finale.
It feels... If I'm Leanne and I'm filming this season, I'm like... I know for a fact, I'm like, don't post wedding pictures until finale day. You know, I'm like, this is, I already know what's going to happen. I'm getting a 2-part finale.
If not a spinoff.
And here I am kind of coming in with a whimper.
Eighth episode. Split over 8 and 9.
Yeah.
Tough.
And
with other storylines happening interspersed with my ceremony.
D'Andra making fried chicken.
They literally just have D'Andra frying chicken.
It was like Leanne's wedding, and then everyone else was at their kitchen island at home. It was hard.
It was
very hard to watch.
It was. And then there was Leanne's mother.
That was really.
I've never seen someone try so hard to get the attention of someone they hate.
So true.
Her mom was like, spent the whole wedding being like, Leanne,
That's my
Leanne. She finally got a picture with her. She was like, that bitch. Like, she literally was so mean to her.
She goes, "It's my daughter."
Yeah. And then
God,
she
she's
was like,
fucking that little cunt. Yeah.
like, she was so
Like she was just like,
mean.
I'd like to get up. Like at first, I felt bad for her because we were all like, because Leanne's like, I have never felt love. No one has loved me. My childhood was a nightmare. Meanwhile, her mother's right there. And they kept flashing to her mother, and I was like, ooh, that's tough to say in front of your mother.
In your vows.
In your vows. And then 5 hours later, the
next day,
the
obviously.
next day where the party was. And then they just had like her mom in the background being like, can I get a picture? It's my daughter's wedding. I want to get a picture with her. And I was like, oh no, this poor woman. They finally get a picture. She leaves early. And then she says, well, thank God she's his problem now.
Unreal.
Unbelievable.
And then she stalks on out to the valet.
With her little goodie bag on her fingers, just out of there. She said, put it on my fingers.
She was dark. And then when she tried to like gain favor with whoever those other family members were, and then he goes, well, it was hard. And she's like, she was loved. And someone else piped in and they're like, it was hard.
I love that she said, because this is the mark of someone who's truly trying to spin a tale. She said that about Leanne, the mom said she wasn't unloved. Which is like so many negatives. Like, it's not like I loved her, but
not unloved.
Removed was not unloved. That's the best I'm going to give you.
Yeah,
You're
it's
a
not
true
like
writer
I love
because
her.
you're really looking at pronouns and
Yes.
And you're really breaking it down.
I look at it as like, a text, and like I learned how to break down, like Shakespeare and stuff. And
You're
this
a
is
dramaturg.
obviously much harder to break down, but I tried.
This is the classics.
Yes.
This is the new classics.
this is the hard stuff to break down.
This is the new Coke. If Shakespeare's Coke. This is the new Coke. And then I think even darker for mom is to not have that charcuterie on a wood board to serve all of those.
I have served more at a movie night.
I mean, ordering some fucking Domino's.
It
if
looked
you
like
Where
a bunch
are
of
the Postmates of Dallas? This is where we need you. We call on you.
get some barbecue.
Get some fucking Lunchables and throw them out.
Jesus.
And that wedding planner, with that fucking mop of hair,
He spent more on that than
he should
did.
be so embarrassed that she served
To
no
have-
food at that wedding.
To have
Humiliating.
mirrored people walking to and fro, and to not budget some
a freaking
little
starch
pizzas.
and a protein.
Yes.
Come on.
Some
And Cameron,
Cameron,
the buck stopped there for Cameron.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
She
I like
had-
that she finally turned on.
She was like, to have a break of 5 hours between your ceremony and your reception is a quote nuisance.
It
Yes,
is a
it
nuisance.
is.
Just a nuisance.
and then to not serve, to have a dinner time
After 7, she
event.
said.
And look, I'm not saying you have to spend a ton of money,
No.
but you have 2 different dresses. You are wearing $1 million crown on your head.
And you're bragging about the fact that it's $1.5 million. Like you're telling people, this is how much I have on my head, and I'm not going
And
to
you have
feed
nothing
you.
in your mouth.
Like, rude.
That
Rude.
plate of salami.
That was awful.
It looked like looked like a handful of meats. They weren't even like carefully laid out flat. They were just in a clump.
And it looked, I had one time just a thing for my husband, right, for his birthday years ago. And there was more charcuterie there for 30 people than there was for, how dare you?
How dare you?
I was angry because I've been at a wedding with no food and I felt angry.
If they had done like a little thing like in the park and it felt like a modest affair
At a Legion Club.
Yeah,
Yes.
like then I'm like, okay, the
A
charcuterie.
Masonic temple.
Yeah, like
Yes.
the cheese and meat board. I mean, it makes sense. It's not great, but it makes sense. But when you have people that are in head to toe mirror.
And gowns and a valet
and trapezes and saddles on trapezes, you have to feed
To not
people.
have a past app.
unbelievable.
It was unbelievable.
Sorry. I'm furious for everybody.
It was unbelievable.
It's unforgivable.
Honestly. Now, last question about Leanne's wedding. Did you guys feel like the spirits were high there? Or did you guys feel energetically people just can't give it up to Leanne, and including the Bravo producers? They're like, she wants it so bad, we're just going to shove her in an 8th episode. Or did it just lay out that way with the filming?
That's a good question.
Because do you think on Vanderpump we're going to have, what's his name's Jax's wedding?
We are going to, that's going to be
Totally.
that's three-parter.
Yeah, that's a three-parter.
Going to Kentucky, y'all.
Yep.
Oh, we're going to that castle in Kentucky to see a princess marry her piece of shit.
That's right.
And guess what? I'm going to love every goddamn second.
I'm going to just drink it right up. I love it. I think that there was less drama than they thought was going to happen at Leanne's wedding. And so they kind of decided to glaze over it. It just wasn't compelling. Like, it was neither here nor there. Like, it wasn't like so great that it was like, you know, a triumph, but it also wasn't such a disaster that it just felt very middle of the road.
Yeah.
I didn't think that we got as much time at that wedding as we did at Jersey Jen's weird party.
Yes.
It was like the same amount of time
was
was
equal
given. And there was
time.
more food at Jersey Jen's plastic surgery party.
Yes.
And blue drinks and
And a scream. She screamed as the face of his company.
She lunged. She asserted herself at another woman
in an electric blue pencil skirt
and a white sweater.
saying stop your slurs. Were there slurs?
I don't know if she knows what that word means.
I don't think so. Because I was like, I don't know that she was like, please stop pointing your finger in my face. She was like, stop your slurs.
What? Huh?
Guys, we're into Jersey, I
Yeah, I
guess.
mean, we transitioned naturally.
we
It
traveled.
premiered tonight.
Yes, it did.
We are right here, hot with
Yes.
the, you know,
Hot with the scoop.
We're always right at the.
Just like the journalist and the comedian that Jen
Yes.
the journalist that Jen is, and I mean,
the
not Jen.
journalist that Jackie
is, and the comedian that Jen is.
Jen is like, look, I'm a comedian.
She's like, you're a writer, you write your things. I'm a comedian.
I'm a comedian. I've
I do
never
my
been
impression.
on stage, and I've never told a joke until now, but I'm a comedian.
No one has ever found me funny, but I'm a comedian.
But I'm a comedian.
No one has ever found her funny.
Ever. Even her impression, I was left wanting.
Oh, absolutely.
It
She
just
was doing
wasn't
herself.
giving. It was not giving me anything.
She just took the dialogue and did herself saying the dialogue.
Yeah, I felt like she could have used some coaching, some direction, and that's where Teresa fell short.
Yeah.
Or whoever was by the camera. That's where they fell short, because it's like I would
That's
actually
where Teresa
have
fell
gotten.
short?
Yes, I would have gotten
Is
another
that
take.
the place that
That
Teresa
is
fell
where
short?
that was on
I would
Teresa.
have taken another pass at that.
You're
Teresa
right.
fell short on a lot of things. That being one of them.
Yes.
I do think Jackie's got a pretty mean streak about Teresa, where she keeps being like, she shouldn't be out at a restaurant. She should be home with her kids. Like, wasn't Jackie's dad in jail for a long period of time, and her mom? Like, she's just mean. I'm like, she does have a very bad situation
Yes.
going on that kids are involved in.
And she has no sympathy for Teresa. Now, Teresa is she is garbage.
It's
But-
hard to find sympathy there, but
But she is going through something terrible. Her family is going through something terrible. She herself went to jail for a crime that Teresa did not knowingly commit.
Absolutely.
I know, and their fathers. I have compassion.
I have compassion. I have so much compassion for her. Even though she is not a compassionate person, she does deserve, her family deserves Jackie's compassion. And for her to not,
Absolutely.
and for her to be like, you didn't listen to your husband, you know, like, could you control your husband? It was all a
There's a
little-
lot you can say about Teresa that's low without going there, and she
Yeah.
always goes there.
yeah, it just seems like there are just so many other true, undisputable facts.
Yeah, it's
to
a cheap-
go
it's
after.
horrible facts.
Horrible facts.
And it's cheap, and it makes her unsympathetic, because when you go after something that is so raw and so not in Teresa's control, and the least of her personality disorders.
Especially from someone who clearly thinks they're better than everyone.
Yeah.
It's just like, hey, this is why you're rubbing everyone the wrong way. Although I just love that Teresa's first instinct, she's not even as mad at Jackie as she is at Gorga for not sticking up for her.
And what is crazy is that like these women truly cannot win, because Melissa hates Teresa,
And
but
Teresa
she's still stuck up for her, and she can't even get the credit for it.
Yeah, and she did stick up for her,
She
but she
really
also
did.
is not going to end that friendship.
Nope.
But Teresa hates Melissa.
She hates her.
She hates her. She
How
is
many times do you
jealous.
think they've seen each other between filming?
Twice.
Twice.
And accidentally.
just ran
I
into
think it was like
each
I
other.
ran into her at a restaurant. I didn't realize she was going to be at this grandmother's birthday party. Like that
Yes.
kind of thing.
I mean,
I think
absolutely.
she sees
and she's like, oh, we have to film again.
she sees Melissa as like the Black Mirror Bizarro world version of Teresa. Like she's like, oh, that could have been
Sliding
my life.
doors.
If I had
Absolutely.
fucked my brother.
Yeah, but it's
is
like
like I
she
wanted
has,
to.
Yeah, she has the life that like I kind of set out to have. Mine is the same. Minus the jail. Like they're on the same show, but I went to
Her
prison.
husband sort of did the same thing. Like
Yes.
they were both kind of builders.
Yeah.
And she's kind of also has a major reverence for her father. And it's like, oh, if I'd only like been able to marry my father or my brother, and this woman got a guy in my family.
Yeah.
And was treated in the manner of which our family's supposed to be accustomed. But I was with this fucking loser.
Yeah.
When Joe called and said, I'm in the custody of ICE. And he's like, it's really bad here. It's really bad here. Teresa goes, that sucks. She goes, that sucks.
She does.
Real emotional
She's
depth.
done. She's done.
She's done.
They just aren't in even a friendship at this point. Like he is her like responsibility as opposed to
Yeah, she
her
said, I'm
husband.
only doing the appeal basically
Yeah,
because
for
of
my
my
kids.
kids. Yeah.
And here's the thing. He doesn't deserve her love. He put her in prison.
She lost time with her mother.
Went to prison for almost a year because of him.
away
Yeah.
from her children. I mean, the fact that she's even like sharing the air with him.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. So he
Unbelievable.
doesn't deserve. I mean, she is doing right by him, and like it's like I'm doing this for my kids. But let's not pretend. Like she can't stop pretending. She can't admit to anything. She has no truth in her life. That's why
Zero.
even like her lies are so blatant that we don't trust Teresa because she lied all that stuff about Joe. She knew he was cheating. Mm-hmm. She tried to make it work. Like
Is she cheating for sure?
for sure.
Absolutely. And at this
Really?
point,
See, this
I don't
is where
even
I'm
know.
naive.
I don't even know if it's like even like
It's like a
morally
peck.
wrong at this
I
point.
don't think so.
They haven't seen each other in 3 years. Like they're truly only married on paper.
It's just like that Italian, like, you with me till I leave in a body bag.
yeah. and
But
it's
he
like,
cheated on her time and time again.
Sure, but still, it's like men can do.
I know.
if you send me to jail, I get to cheat.
Yes.
That's the rule.
You're right. That's a great rule.
Yeah.
is the rule of
If I go
thumb.
to federal prison for you,
Right.
then I get to kiss and hold hands with this
get to
dude.
With a
hold
young
hands
guy
with a
until
young
he
guy.
takes a closer look.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And he runs fleeing. That's the rule.
That's the rule. Yeah, she cares not for him.
No.
Margaret Josephs, I appreciate because we were saying like their looks are so wild in Jersey. You were saying they're just not up to par.
I feel like when I watch Jersey, and I don't watch it very often, but I'm kind of on the hook for this season. When I was watching tonight, I had to ask myself, am I watching on Hulu and am I watching archival footage?
I switched it out to see if you would.
It felt like a relic, just a lot of it, the styling and all that stuff. It just
Yes.
felt really not of the times.
No, it didn't.
No, and even Jackie's. I was saying I feel like Jackie's trying to be the Dorit, and it's so still always not hitting the mark. Like
Not
with those
quite
sheer
it.
black hose and a strappy heel
And
and sandal
the
on top of the hose.
with an opaque tight.
and an
And
open
Melissa
toe shoe.
Gorga's whatever that outfit was.
I have to say,
what?
I liked
I
it.
did too. I did too.
Wow. I like
It's not good.
No,
it
No,
isn't
but
good.
we have to go within the scale
But
that
she
we're.
looks good
I was
in
like,
it. It's
that is
just-
something. If I saw it on a rack, would I pick it up and give it a second look? Absolutely.
Wow.
Should I have done that? No.
Now Marge's green moo.
I think that's nice to say moo. Like Marge looks like what my grandma wore at like Cedar House
It was
retirement home, shuffling
Yeah,
around where I
it's,
saw a
my
woman
grandmother
stirring her
would-
coffee with a hairbrush.
Yes.
Like this is what Marge's
It's
looks
what
are
my
like.
grandmother wore, like, but when she was just, it was a schmata.
Yeah.
She called
Absolutely
it. You know
a
what I mean?
schmata.
She
It
was
in a
mint.
schmata.
She was dressed as if she was, and this is an old reference, she looked like Endora from Bewitched.
Yes!
Samantha's mother.
Yes.
That
Even
is
her
what she
hair.
was
That's
giving
kind
me.
of what I love love about her is she's just like, oh, me? I'm not even trying.
No, don't look over here. Like, I'm doing what I'm going to do over here.
Right. Like, don't worry about this.
And I actually find that more admirable than Jackie wearing like her like try too hard last season Valentino's with an opaque tight. Like at least Margaret is like keeping in genre. Like she's staying consistent.
Do you remember when Margaret went to go look for fashions in France? And it was like for her business, whatever that business was. But she was, and it was just so not the right fit.
It wasn't
like an understated French.
It wasn't a fit. Totally, it wasn't a fit.
Totally, it wasn't a fit.
Oh, I mean, I'll see what we see. I don't know about Jersey. I'm done with the like Teresa.
I'm done with
Melissa
Teresa.
fight. Like, I don't know.
But I do enjoy some Marge. I do enjoy. And I do. Jen gave us some gems last year. Like your fucking, my lips, like kiss him like my a fucking asshole.
Like his asshole. And I like when the preview or whatever when Jen throws a knife at Melissa. That's nice.
That was fun.
That's
I don't
coming
know
up.
if they have it.
I don't think they do.
We'll see.
I don't know if they do. And because here I would lean into like all of the Melissa or Teresa and Joe things, but like I don't know how much they were able to record. So I just feel like
we know they're going to Italy.
Yeah, that I'm excited for. That we have.
That like Andy's got specials that were totally feel great.
Just that hour with them was a revelation.
And I feel, what do you think? Does OC have more coming?
I think that wherever Kelly Dodd is, you have something.
Wow.
I feel like she was a really good addition. I think she's a horrible person, but I do think wherever you have it's sort of like chemistry where it's like if you have Vicky, you have Kelly, you have Shannon, you're gonna have something. It's just gonna be a chemical reaction that it will occur.
Alchemy.
So I hope that I'm not wrong.
And do you think we're gonna be okay in New York without Bethany? I'm worried.
Jill Zarin's coming back.
That's what I heard. Is it true?
Is that true?
And then I heard Tinsley's leaving, but that's not true.
That's not true.
I have faith that Jill
Tinsley's
is
back
coming
with Scott,
back.
the coupon king.
We've heard of sightings.
Yeah.
I don't know. New York feels like home to me. Like I just like I will love New York unconditionally. I don't know.
And what do you think Beverly Hills has for us? How do you feel?
I'm ready for Garcelle Beauvais.
Oh, me too.
Of course.
I am ready. They posted a picture on Instagram the other day of all of them sitting like outside at Kyle's house. And I was like, the look in Garcelle's face, I was like, she's mad. I was like, this is good.
Yeah,
this is good.
So good. Of course
I'm
she's
ready.
mad.
I'm
She's
ready.
just like, what's happening?
Yeah.
Wow. We've gotten through a lot tonight.
We really have. I'm proud of us.
I am too. Do you have anything else? I mean, you've given so much of yourself tonight, Lauren. You have.
I think I'm spent. I think
Yeah.
And is there anything you would like to plug? Your Instagram, your Twitter feed?
You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at MSLAS.
And of course, a Black Lady sketch show on HBO. Second season being written. First season is amazing.
It's up
Thank
everywhere,
you.
you guys. If you haven't watched it, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Get it. It's so good.
It's so funny.
Thank you so much.
Love to your sister. Shout out to Mariah.
Shout out to Mariah.
Shout out to your mom and dad.
Yes, and
My
I'd love to see their
sketch- my-
sketches.
and
I'm
comedy
scared of your
partners.
middle sister, but and how she'll grade this
Exactly.
night. But
I'd love to
I love
see,
her.
in a Partridge Family way, your family's sketch show.
It's coming.
Yes.
Putting it out there.
We'll work on it.
Wow. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you, Casey.
Thank you, Lyra. Thank you, Danielle.
Thank you to Earwolf.
And thank you to our listeners.